Hello and welcome to the first ever podcast of the Little Acts of Decluttering. My name is Rachel Noakes and I do various different social medias where I share little acts of decluttering on a daily basis. I have a YouTube, I have Facebook, Instagram and TikTok, so you can find me on there as Declutter Your Life. And I've set up a podcast because I want to share little tips and tricks, some Reddit stories, some ideas around decluttering and minimalism through a range of stories and interviews. To introduce the podcast, I thought it would be nice to read the introduction from my book, Little Acts of Decluttering, so that you can get an idea of who I am and what I am like, what I do, so that you can get a better picture and know what you're signing up for. My book, The Little Acts of Decluttering, is available on Amazon for you to be able to purchase if you search for Little Acts of Decluttering. There'll also be links in my bios as well. It may surprise you to know that I used to be a hoarder. If I could show you my teenage bedroom set in the late 90s, early noughties, you would be horrified. Shocked to the core. I kept everything. Books, photos, ornaments, old school books, letters, birthday cards, Christmas cards, and I was in the box room, the tiny, above the stair bedroom. It surprises me still how much stuff I could fit in there. Since moving out at 18 and living in several flats and houses since, I used to lug my junk around, like we all do. Fast forward to my 30s and life has a whole different meaning. A person close to me said that I was too messy. At the time, I was a little chaotic in my first term as an NQT, but I was generally not that messy. I would argue that it was organised chaos. I knew exactly where everything was and I was happy with that. For a while. Teaching takes its toll, as you can imagine. Coming home from work, completing chores and keeping the house tidy has always felt overwhelming for me, especially as a single mum. My home felt chaotic and my health was deteriorating due to developing chronic fatigue syndrome. Tidy home, tidy mind immediately came to me and I knew I had to make a change. A journey was about to begin and little did I know how impactful it would become. Alongside this came a necessity to clear my debt from student overdrafts, credit cards and hire purchase loans. I began selling stuff I didn't need to help pay off the debt. I started with more valuable items, jewellery, furniture and electronic devices. Every penny helped chip away. But something bigger happened. I started to feel a change. My environment became a little calmer, a little easier to manage and took far less time to clean. Timed with the beginning of minimalist shows on streaming sites such as The Minimalist, The Home Edit and Tidying Up with Marie Kondo, my whole mindset changed. It was freeing. Decluttering is something I have done regularly, mostly due to house moves, but I am fully aware of how overwhelming a task it can be. At first, I was able to declutter whole rooms in a day and feel like I had made big strides. But after a while, chronic fatigue became a part of my life, and so I had to start pacing myself. I realised after decluttering my whole house that I still had too much stuff. Reality sunk in. I had been far too generous the first time round and was keeping things that I still didn't need. It was time for round 2. This time I did things a little slower and thought carefully about each item and category that I was working on. I started asking myself questions and it became much easier to part with my items. It's now 2 years down the line and my home is full of beautiful things that I love. I carefully consider anything that I bring into my home and I have shared my journey on my social media pages. In doing so, I realised that, like me, not everyone could take on a whole room at a time when letting go of items from their home. Little Acts of Decluttering was born during my later decluttering days, as I was trying to chip away slowly due to my deteriorating health. A way of chunking up each different area to declutter in a more manageable way. Each little act focuses on one area or type of item to allow you to make small steps towards a bigger change. So here we are at the beginning of your journey, a moment in which you have taken the first step towards a less cluttered home. I'm not here to preach or convert you towards minimalism, although do read around the topic. I am here to help you create the home you want and deserve. So there we are, the introduction to the little acts of decluttering. And now it's time to start thinking about some stories, some concepts about decluttering and minimalism. So I shall be back with more stories very soon.